I hear the call of the stars.
G'day everybody, Duckville here. Welcome to another replay from MLG Raleigh 2011. Hope you have enjoyed some of the other content that is up on the MLG.tv website, along with some of the content that's gone up on my own YouTube, youtube.com/DuckvilleLol. Just a little bit of a sneak in there. You guys obviously have wanted to see some of these great games between these players. Here today we're going to see another great matchup in this TVP. We have dignitasSjow against EGHuk. We've got Show just up in the top left hand side here, and down here in the bottom right we've got Huk. Now these guys have done a lot to get to this point in the tournament. This is obviously the battle for 7th and 8th place in the standings, of course. Interestingly, this actually means that Show, I believe, actually gets a ticket into GSL Code A in September. So this is actually quite good for Show. Regardless of whether he wins or loses in this best of 3, he will get a spot in there. And obviously, as he is heading over to Korea in the short term, he will be able to play there, and probably will be able to show the Koreans some of his skills. Of course, being a Swede, is one of the 10 billion Swedish players that seem to be in the community at the moment, that are doing really well, including the likes of Naniwa and Jinro and Moro, I believe. So all of these guys doing a fantastic job. But Show, previously a Warcraft 3 player, known actually for his 2v2 team skills. I didn't even know that there was a scene for Warcraft 3 2v2s, but either way, apparently he was a bit of a badass in that regard. Although in SC2, didn't actually start off too well, was actually known more for the fact that he doesn't actually scout out that often. But here today we'll see if he is going to actually scout, because there can be times where Huk will do something crazy, so we'll see if Show is going to do that. But meanwhile, Huk just at the moment is just starting off with a standard sort of opening. He's not going to grab a quick expansion, as I like to do on this map. I actually like to grab a quick 15 Nexus. You can actually hold that up sometimes, and if you do, you're in a great position. But Huk, obviously wanting to be a lot safer than I on this map, is just going to go for standard opening there with the gate and the cyber. Meanwhile, Show is actually scouting out, so we'll see that he is just trying to find out what is going on the map for once. Meanwhile, this Marine just fending off this probe for the time being. The probe is going to stay alive for the moment. It's currently on red health. I think that's... yeah, it's 4 health. Shields are regenning, so it will be able to survive a little bit longer once it perhaps heads inside. He's got it set to run into the main of Show, so he's going to try and get inside. These 2 Marines should be able to stop the probe from getting in, but meanwhile, Show is actually just decided to get this quick expansion here. He's actually going to have that command center up and running pretty quickly, which is going to give him a nice little addition to his economy. And the probe actually gets inside, spots that command center that was being built at the natural expansion, and in fact, as we can see here, Huk is claiming that there is no 1-1-1, which is of course a big problem for Protoss lately. This 1-1-1 build where you're grabbing a Banshee, some tanks, and some Marines, or some variant of that, and it can actually be quite a lot to deal with. But as you can see, Huk's not going to have to worry about that. A Rax does go down off to the side, a second Rax that is, of course. No tech lab just for the moment, which is a bit interesting from Show, so we'll see what his plan is for the moment. Meanwhile, Huk is getting that quick sentry out along with a Stalker that was already out on the map, and we do see that he has taken a natural expansion here as well, so he's going to get that up and running and try and keep neck and neck with Show for the economy. And the Stalker sees that the bunker is there and won't be able to get too much done, but Show starting off quite economically here, getting this command center up and running straight away, and also switching that straight into the orbital command so we can get the extra mules and obviously the extra SCV production as well. In fact, we'll have a quick look at the Harvester tab. We currently got Huk sitting on 25. Obviously the bonus coming from the Chrono Boost on the Nexus there. We have Warp Gate Tech just up and running as well. Just about up and running, and the SCVs for Show currently sitting at 23, but he does have the mules, of course, and he'll have double mules around about now. He does already have it, so he's going to be kicking into overdrive soon with his own economy, and we'll see what his plan in terms of tech is probably quite soon. We've got a factory coming along for Show, so he's probably, I'm assuming, going to go for something pretty standard at the moment. I don't think there's anything fancy you can do. Whoa, hello. We have actually got a Stargate. I'm a bit surprised to see that from Huk. He's not always a fan of getting those sorts of early Stargates, but perhaps he could do something with the with a Void Ray or something to that effect. He does have this extra gas here up at the natural expansion. In fact, both gases being taken there, so the sentries will have to be very careful when protecting this front part of the base here to make sure that nothing gets inside, because I think HUK is going to go for that Void Ray style build. Another alternative we could see is some Phoenix play. You can do some things with Phoenix that can be quite annoying to a Terran. You can fly like 3 or 4 Phoenix in, pick up a Mule, and blast it away before the Marines can react. So that could be something we could see from HUK in a very short time. But in fact, whoa, hello. We've actually got a fleet beacon coming along from HUK, so we're going to have something fun here from HUK today. We're going to see what the plan is soon. This Hellion trying to get inside to try and find out exactly what is going on, but some nice force fields blocking off the wall there. You cannot get past that in any way, shape or form. With a Hellion, it doesn't have booster packs on the back of it or anything like that. But the fleet beacon, I'm a bit surprised. I'm going to say, judging by these gateways that are coming up, and we'll see if a Twilight Council comes up, but I would say probably the most likely option will be the Kiwi Kaki-esque style of getting a mothership out and then actually getting a lot of Blink Stalkers, and then using the Blink Stalkers along with the mass recall ability of the mothership to actually just go in, do a lot of harassment, and then just be recalled out. And as you can see, you can do things like jumping up the top of this cliff once there's some vision, and then just picking off random SCVs, doing your best to pick some of them and just really destroy the mineral lines of the Terran, and then just be recalled out and think nothing of it. So we'll see. If HUK is going to do that, I would really love to see him do something like that. But just for the moment here, Show has started kicking into overdrive. We've got Hellions being pumped out, Marines, Marauders, and probably some medevacs will be started shortly here. We've got +1 to the weapons as well. Combat shields and stim on the way as well. And just for the moment here, I'm thinking Show is in a decent spot. Let's have a quick look at the harvesters. Yeah, he's currently sitting way up because of those mules on about 1,700 mineral income. So we'll see what HUK is going to do about that. The harvesters are even for the time being. In fact, the supply count has quite a difference there, with 88 for Show and 71 for HUK. So HUK's going to need to do a little bit of catching up once he actually gets this mothership into play. A couple more gates have gone down, bringing the total to 6. So we'll see. I'm thinking, yeah, this is probably going to be like some sort of 6-gate +1 Blink Stalker mothership recall attack. See if you can put that one on the Team Liquid Liquipedia. But HUK is probably going to use this to cover this expansion here. Probably going to try and put down this third base while he's harassing with the Blink Stalkers and then bringing them back with the mass recall. And that's actually a really good idea. I really like the sounds of that. I should give that a try myself. But we'll see what he's going to get up to here. A Stalker is sitting at the Zelnaga Watchtower, sees these Hellions come along. The Hellions will be able to take out that Stalker eventually, but the Stalker being microed away quite well by HUK, but he's obviously not much faster than those Hellions at all. And the Hellions are going to have to contend with a couple more Stalkers walking up to save their buddy, and they are not going to get there in time, but the Hellions will have to retreat for now. But Show, just at the moment here, just getting out a standard sort of mix that you would see from your average Terran, getting out some medevacs and a few Vikings as well, predicting that there could be a Colossus threat very soon, and a third base going up for Show just over here, along with a hidden 4th expansion. It's I suppose it's not exactly hidden, it's probably a bit more of a normal-ish sort of spot where you would have one, but we'll see if he can get that up and running, and if he can, along with those orbital commands that he has, he loves to use, he could actually get into a nice spot in the economy and just start slamming out units. And in fact, speaking of slamming out units, where is that mothership? I swear I saw it. Oh no, it's over here. There you go. Staying out of range of any scans that may come along from Show, and in fact now just moving along with that, but in the middle of the map we've got a few units just fighting out here. One Stalker is spotted that the army is now proceeding through the middle there. Show meanwhile has no idea what HUK is up to. You could say that this is something that HUK has actually predicted, that because of the very minimal scouting that Show does, he's going to have no idea that there is going to be this big Blink Stalker combo, and as you can see, the Blink is just about done. So HUK timing this out quite nicely. The mothership coming into the fray just across the cliff there, gliding its way over, and we'll see if HUK is going to utilize this. As I said, I'm pretty sure this is going to be that sort of Blink Stalker style. One Marine sitting down here at the bottom of the cliff here. He doesn't have any repelling gear, and Batman is not around to lift him up, so he can't get up the top of the cliff there and scout out. But the upgrades being chronoed away there by Huk. He's doing a good job. Plus 2 weapons is already half done. Meanwhile, in the middle of the map, we've got some Stalkers just plowing through the middle there. They're going to try and blink around and catch out some of these units here. One Marauder attempting to take out this Stalker, but he's not going to be able to because some reinforcements have arrived. And here go these Blink Stalkers. We'll see what Huk can do here with this Blink. Show, meanwhile, just sitting at the watchtower, just being very careful with how he moves these units here. Huk just trying to poke in there, doing a little bit of harassment. It's like he's just running in there and poking Show with some sticks and then running away, but he's not going to get too much done. I wouldn't think this Bioforce is quite hefty. As we can see, these units all have 1-1 on their armor and their weapons as well, so they're going to do a decent amount of damage, and he's going to have to be really careful because if Huk actually gets a good position, he could do some damage, but just with so many Bioforces, I really don't think Huk's going to have much done there. But it looks as if Huk is finally getting this third base up and running. Storm is being researched here. The Nexus is just about done. Stalker's still trying to poke away. They did, in fact, take out one of the medevacs there. There were 4, I believe. And he's actually taken one of them out. The 4th base now up and running with a planetary and a turret there for Show. He's got the 3rd base also up and running. There's no gas coming in just yet, of course. He doesn't need as much gas as your average player would. He is going for just a very heavy bio mix here. We've got all of these racks up and running. There's a total of 8 racks now being constructed or actually already built. In fact, 9. I've missed one there. But more medevacs being pumped out here. And now the mothership, I think, has been revealed by Huk. He did have to engage right there underneath the cloak of that mothership, but now Show is in a really decent spot here, given that he does have all of these powerful units, and we'll see if he can actually counteract this Blink attack. I'm a bit surprised that Huk hasn't done more with those Blink Stalkers, perhaps using an observer or some sort of hallucinated flying unit to give him some high ground vision up here at the natural expansion to come in and attack. But of course the problem he has is that he cannot leave the middle of the map unguarded just yet, because if this bio army decides to move through Huk's natural expansion, he's just going to absolutely destroy it there, and not even this mothership can save that. So we'll see what the plan is from Huk. I think he's just going to try and just sit around for the moment and maybe get some expansions running. He is running up here to this top right hand side base, probably going to put some pylons down. We often do see Huk putting down proxy pylons around the map. Now the mothership coming into effect. We'll see what Huk is going to do. The bio army is now moving down the southern side of the map. The watchtower is going to be cleaned out by those marauders and the ghosts and the medevacs and marines as well, of course. And now these ghosts have cloaked up. They're going to be really annoying for Huk to deal with. I don't believe there is an observer in the mix here, but there goes an EMP right on top of that mothership, taking out some of the energy there. In fact, now putting down a vortex right in the middle there. In fact, I think that was perhaps an attempt to try and bait Show just to run in there, but I don't think he actually, were there many units that got in there? I'm not actually sure, but Huk, we'll see what happens here right about now when this comes out and the storm goes down. Actually picked up a few of those units there, took out a few of the ghosts, and in fact this could get interesting for Huk now. He does have charge on those zealots. They will be able to run straight into battle, and there they go, running around and surrounding every single unit here down on the southern part of that attack. And Show is going to have to micro his head off if he actually wants to get out of this battle alive. And I don't think he's going to get too far, given that these zealots do have charge. They've got +2 to their weapons along with +1 to armor. They are not going to take no for an answer. And these marauders are going to have to run for their lives, along with their brothers up here, who are going to be coming into a little bit of trouble themselves. That mothership is, where is that mothership gone? He's actually just floating it around, not actually sure what the point of that is. But Huk now just blasting through all of these units here. Stalkers, sentries, and zealots just sweeping across the map here, just taking out all of those bio forces on the ground. Show is now in a little bit of trouble. I wouldn't say he's dead yet, but he certainly needs to get some units out if he wants to defend. He's got about 83 billion racks being built here as well, so he's going to have a massive macro mode to actually boost out all of the units that he does need. And Huk, meanwhile, is expanding behind the back of this attack. He's gotten this 4th base up here, along with a 5th one up here as well. He's going to discover that lonely marine just forever alone, sitting down there at the bottom of the cliff. Takes out the probe, and will make it so that Show is aware of this expansion coming up here. Have a look at this. Show has still not actually seen what is inside Huk's base, but he's got a little bit to contend with at the moment. He's got these stalkers just poking away at the front of his base, and these guys are going to have to retreat for the moment. There are those proxy pylons I was alluding to before, and we'll probably see this probe put down a few more as well. But One Zealot coming in here to clean up that Forever Alone Marine, and that is going to be that for Show at the moment here. Still waiting to see if Show is ever going to actually check out what is happening in Huk's base. +3 to weapons, I believe that is. Yep, +3 to weapons on the way, +2 to armor, along with carriers. You are not being deceived here. This is not some sort of hallucination. There are actually carriers on the way from Huk. I am absolutely astounded that this is coming through. This mothership is going to need to be very careful here. These Marines probably can do a lot of damage to it, but the EMPs actually missed just a little bit there, not actually doing anything at all, and Show is going to be in a world of trouble if these carriers get out. We've actually got 2 carriers on the way from Huk. I believe there is already 1. In fact, the Vortex going down, that has actually captured some of those units here. We'll see what Huk can do. There isn't actually too much around for Huk to actually deal with the units that pop out. Keep in mind, obviously, since one of the patches not too long ago, units that pop out of the Vortex are actually protected for around about 1, or is it 1.5 seconds, something like that. So you can't actually do the old Archon toilet or the or Storm toilet or anything like that. But what you can do is make carriers, and that's obviously very cool. So we've got +1 to armor on the way for the air units of Huk. He's also got +1 to weapons, just about done. This is going to get absolutely crazy in just a moment. Show still not aware of what Huk is up to in his base. Of course, he only knows that there is 1 base down at the southern 6 o'clock position, so it's quite interesting there. SCVs sacrificing themselves for the good of the people, but not too much is going to be done in the near future. We've got a couple of command centers being built here. I would not be surprised if they get flicked into planetary fortresses. Storms going down in beautiful spots there from Huk. As we can see, he is retreating, but he's absolutely whittled down those units here. Look at all of those in the red. There are a few in the green. They had their umbrellas. They're fine from those storms, but just beautiful storms there from Huk. Planetary Fortress going up over here, and an attempted command center is still not done there from Show. He is actually going to try and push away at the rest of these units here from Huk. He's just got a lot of Zealots at the moment here. We've still got 3 more carriers on the way, +2 to armor, and weapons for air units is also on the way. So these carriers, once they move into battle, will be doing a lot of damage. We've got 3 already here, 3 still in production here. Show is maxed out, but it's just not the right composition. There's so many Marauders in this mix here, and unfortunately, I'm not sure if anyone knows, but Marauders cannot shoot air. So for some reason, those concussion grenade launchers on their arms are actually just a bit too heavy to lift up to aim at the sky. But what Show is doing quite nicely is getting his upgrades going. He is getting +1 to ship weapons. He's got +3 to the armor, just about done. +3 to weapons is already done for these infantry forces. And Terran building armor is coming along. What a crazy game we've got here at the moment. But Show now attacking in here into this 4th base here. He's going to take this Nexus out. That's going to be no trouble to deal with. And the carriers have arrived. Check that out. We've got these carriers now busting through in all of these forces here. I'm not sure how much damage they're going to do, but the Marines look as if they have been whittled down. The only surviving Viking has also been removed, but Show is now in trouble because those Marauders are not going to do anything against these carriers up in the sky. And the 5th base is still up and running here for Huk, so he's actually in a decent spot. So we'll see if Show is going to try and come down and take out that base. Obviously, he was aware of this particular base. There are certain assumptions you can make about the person you're playing against when they actually are in this position to get carriers, but of course Huk is still pumping away at those carries. He's got queued up carriers in some of these Stargates, so that's going to be interesting. And now, in fact, coming down to the 6 o'clock base, he will be able to take it out, but look at that bank that Huk has built up. He has 3k minerals along with 1k gas built up already. Some Templar are being warped in to counteract this attack at the bottom side of the base. The carriers are moving out. Where have they gone? They're over here. They are coming to attack. There is a Zealot attack proceeding up to the 12 o'clock position. These carriers doing so much damage here. Of course, they cannot be stopped by these Marauders. In fact, Storms going down. Storms could actually hurt Huk a little bit there, but obviously not too much was done. The attack up here at the 12 o'clock commencing. SCVs being removed from that one. Quick smart. Mules being landed. I'm not sure if that's the greatest idea there by Show, but he is going to need to get some sort of income because he is starting to struggle. This base is still going okay, but it's still got a little bit, it's getting a little bit low. The 3rd base is already just about gone. The natural is done, and the main is done, of course, as well. But So this base, along with that 4th down at the 9 o'clock position, are the only remaining mining bases for Show at the moment. Meanwhile, Huk is just getting up his 4th base over here. But the battle now commencing. We've got storms all over those Marines. They have been, all the Marauders, I should say, they have been taken out. The carriers now proceeding to own every single Marauder left on the ground here. And this is the interesting thing which you see a lot when pro players use carriers, is that ghosts somehow seem to survive all the time and sit on the ground in their cloak and start taking out carriers. It's very weird to see, but there are more carriers taking position in the middle of the map here. These Marauders attempting to run across the map. They're going to try and get into that base up on the 3 o'clock side, but over here in the middle here we've got a couple of Archons in the mix along with these carriers. Going to take out this planetary fortress. Of course, the planetary can also not shoot up, but these carriers, in fact, the nuke going down. Show is going to try and use a defensive nuke here. I'm not sure if he's going to actually be able to get it down, because Huk is usually aware of these sorts of things. Probably should be able to see that red dot, but the nuke is actually going to come down, and here it comes. Takes out 2 of the Archons, 1 of the carriers, and that is that could be the end of that attack. But Huk says that tickles. Not actually really doing much at all to Huk. He's still going to proceed with these carriers. These carriers, keep in mind, have +2 to weapons, +2 to armor, and +1 to shields. So these guys take a lot of damage, given that they do have their 150 shields and 300 health. No matter how many ghosts you've got down here on the ground, in fact, he's only got 5 left over along with a couple of Vikings. There is just not enough to defend with this many carriers, and it's just unfortunate for Show that it got to this position in the game. Once you get to this spot, it is really hard to deal with. Huk, meanwhile, just taking the bottom left base, taking the right side base now as well, and the carriers are now proceeding into the natural expansion here. They are going to be microed away beautifully there by Huk. Ghosts on the ground are starting to be taken out as well. Turret just getting removed there by Huk as well, and the Vikings are the only possible hope here for Show. If he can use those Vikings and micro nicely, he could be able to do something, but I just don't see it, given that we do have 6 carriers out here already on the map. We've got 3 down here in the middle, and it's just way too much for Show to deal with. And I suppose you could make the argument he didn't scout any of this out, and it could be his own fault that this occurred. But we'll see what happens here. He is starting to take out some of these carriers. Only 3 left. There are those 3 in the middle which still haven't been used just yet. But it looks as if Show is going to push this back. I'm really surprised that he's pushed this back at the moment here. We've got some Templar. Going to switch into Archons, no doubt. Switching into those Archons there to take out that command center, but this base will stay operational for the time being. These 3 carriers that were sitting in the middle have now finally been put into the carrier group here. That leaves just 5 carriers in total for this particular match for Huk at the moment. He's not actually building any more, but he's actually starting to struggle a little bit with his minerals. He's actually running a little bit low on the minerals, as we can see here. There's only a very low saturation at some of these bases. In fact, probably should move some of these other ones around. But the 9 o'clock base is now being destroyed by Huk. The carriers just roaming through the map, just destroying everything. Show seems to have no answer for any of this, and now with this ground force just waiting out here, these Vikings will be able to do a lot of damage to these carriers, but not if Huk micros correctly. In fact, now the ghosts have actually cloaked, and they will be able to do a lot of damage, but with the Vikings now gone, there is no way that Show is going to be able to protect this fortress, not to mention the fact that that is pretty much his last mining base. The base up here at the 12 has not been utilized yet. The base over here at the 1 o'clock is now being annihilated by those Archons with their Don't Argue fist, and the carriers have now done their job, and they are more than welcome just to sit around and not do too much. But there is a GG, and Show goes down to some very, very cool carrier play from Huk. Obviously taking advantage of the fact that he was assuming that Show had not seen any of his base, taking that relatively quick third there as well, and then just starting to macro up and just plow through everything that Show had once those carriers were on the map. Fantastic game there between these 2 players. We will go into game number 2 and see if Show can come back, or if Huk is going to do something crazy with carriers, or if he's going to do something standard and take the win 2-0. I'll see you in the next game. Cheers.